everyone, my name is Juanita and I'm going to talk about the art of belonging to tomorrow. I want you to picture this. It's Friday night, you're tired, and everything that's on your mind is resting and have some fun. But then you remember that you have to write an essay that's due on Monday. Yet you don't find yourself this quiet about it. Why? Oh, yeah, because you have a whole weekend ahead to do your essay, right? But suddenly, in the blink of an eye, it's Sunday afternoon and you have nothing done. Now you have two options: stay up all night and try to come up with something, or come up with an apologetic excuse explaining why you haven't done your essay. Do you relate to this circumstance? Well, this is called procrastination, and the word itself derives from Latin and it means deferred until tomorrow. Some experts also label it as our ancient nemesis, saying that its origin parallels with the rising of human civilization 2.5 million years ago. For example, in the Hammurabi Babylonian Code, we find prescriptions to unravel the undermining causes for unnecessary delays. Years later, William Shakespeare approached this in a poetic and exquisite way, saying, "Our doubts are traitors and make us lose the good we oft might win by fearing to attempt." So, as we already know, this is a very common behavior amid human population. Statistics show us that 80 to 95% of college students procrastinate. And I have to admit that I myself wanted to postpone the writing of the speech for this TED, but it would have been satiric and ironic, considering that this whole thing is about retarding responsibilities and how not to do it. But is this just a harmless behavior, or does it actually interfere with our personal, academic, and financial life? As a matter of fact, numerous studies support the notion that procrastination, far from being a laughing matter, is a destructive force in many lives. Because throughout our whole life, we're going to find aversion to different tasks and discounting distant goals. It doesn't matter if you're pursuing your career or dream job. 95% of procrastinators wish to reduce it, and way more than 50% of college students procrastinate. It's also fair to say that if I gained a penny for every time in my life that I have procrastinated, I would be rich. So now it's time to examine the underlying causes of procrastination. Procrastinators tend to be impulsive, distractible, and lacking of self-control. Thus, they're very sensitive to delays. Now, a study was developed with 120 college students. Participants were asked to give responses regarding tasks with a past deadline, a present deadline, or a future deadline. This was in order to dim the perception of both non-delayed and delayed tasks. And it turns out that delayed tasks were seen as harder, not enjoyable, or that required more effort. Also, inquisitors constructed a questionnaire in order to measure the main factors that may have caused procrastination amid students. Four main aspects were pointed out: lack of perseverance, lack of skimming, urgency, and sensation seeking, or the desire for outdoor activities. Also, there was a relation found saying that procrastination was prompted by temptations and impulsivity. So, for example, if you're trying to do your math homework, but then you hear that someone else is watching your favorite show, you're naturally going to feel tempted to drop everything and start watching it. In addition, we have types of procrastination: arousal procrastination, which are delays motivated by a last minute thrill experience. So, for example, when you're about to start to work, but then you feel that you have to get so many things done at once that you get overwhelmed when you haven't even started yet. And avoidant procrastination, which is when you look for any excuse to procrastinate because you're scared to fail. Now that we've brought the problem to the table and that we all have a wider idea of what procrastination is, let's talk about the keys to unravel this. But I'm not only going to talk about what a bunch of psychologists and experts say. I'm going to approach this by my personal experience and what has worked for me so far. So when my brain wants to make me a bad move, I apply these techniques. I think about how my future self will be thankful. How good is it going to feel to release that pressure of having to get something done? Also, think about how there is no escape. You have no escape to your responsibilities. You will have to do it anyway. It doesn't matter how long you take. And if it isn't turning out as you plan in your head, don't worry, it'll be fine. And us procrastinators tend to choose short term benefits over long term gains. So the key is to stick to those long term gains. Now let's regard what experts say. People who don't procrastinate do so not because of a matter of self control, but because they have built schemes to overcome it. Related to that, you have to construct your task to be, your task to be defiant but still achievable. So set your goals based on what experience has taught you. And also, avoid all sorts of distraction. Put away that phone, book, TV, noise, whatever you need to concentrate. And pair your distant goal with a more recent one. So you don't lose track of time and you acknowledge how much time do you actually have left to conclude your task. So hopefully you destroy procrastination before it destroys you, because every time that you succeed, whether you feel tempted to procrastinate or not, you're going to build a habit of industriousness. Thank you very much.